Welcome to the online lecture series on 8051 microcontroller. In this video lecture, we shall see the difference between a jump instruction and a subroutine instruction. So while discussing the branching instructions, we had seen that the branching instructions are classified as three types. One is unconditional jump instructions, conditional jump instructions, and subroutine instructions. Now all these instructions, they break the sequential flow. Okay, but there are differences among these. Okay, for example, we have seen in module 2 the unconditional jump instructions and conditional jump instructions. So in case of unconditional jump instructions, a branching is always done. Okay, so this breaks the sequential flow. In case of conditional jump instructions, what happens? Before a branching is done, it checks for a specific condition, and if that condition is true, then branching is done, or else the execution will continue as it is. Okay, for example, in jump on carry, so it checks for the carry flag. So if carry flag is equal to 1, then a branching is done and the execution continues from the branching address. Now the third category is the subroutine instructions. How are the subroutine instructions different from the jump instructions? We shall see by writing a simple program. Okay, and what are the subroutine instructions? You have four subroutine instructions, basically two only. One is call, the other is return. Okay, so we shall see in the program what is the function of a call instruction and what is the functionality of a return instruction. Okay, so let us write a simple program now. Okay, say move a comma hash 20h, move r0 comma hash 30h, and I say add a comma r0. Okay, so this is the program, and afterwards I have some more increment a, decrement. So these are all very dummy instructions only. Okay, now in this program all the instructions are sequential. There is not even a single branching instruction. Okay, now I will introduce some branching instruction. Okay, let me say sjump next, and let your next be here. Now what happens? We have seen already. So this is an unconditional jump instruction. Okay, so when sjump is executed, it will branch to the branching address, first point. Second, it will start executing from the branching address onwards. This is what we have seen in a branching instruction. Okay, so I will compile and debug this again so that you revision for you. Okay, now so I start executing, and now a branching instruction has occurred. What will happen now? So since this is an unconditional branching instruction, a branching is always done. Okay, so it will branch to the label called next. Okay, and it will now from this point onwards it will start executing. Correct? This is what we have seen in case of a jump instruction. Okay, now we shall see about a call instruction. Okay, now call instruction is also a unconditional branching instruction. It means whenever a call instruction occurs in the main program, a branching is always done. Okay, so I will write say some program here. I will write a call, say add 1. Okay, okay, so let me repeat. Call instruction is also an unconditional branching instruction. It also breaks the sequential flow. Okay, so I have written a call instruction here. Okay, now, so where do we write the subroutine? As I have told, the subroutine is always written between your forever loop and the end directive. Okay, so you should always write the subroutine after this forever loop. Okay, so I will write add 1. Okay, so this is my subroutine now. Okay, which contains instructions. So what I have to do is I have to add two numbers. So I will say add a comma r0. Okay, after this, the last instruction in any subroutine, okay, it is the return instruction. Okay, the last instruction in any subroutine, it is the return instruction. Okay, let me have one more subroutine instruction, and I will move r2 comma a. After this, let me have one more called a call subtract 1. Okay, and let me write one more subroutine called sub1. Here I will do subtract a comma r0, and again I have to return. These are two different subroutines. Okay, and let me store the result of this move r3 comma a. Fine, let me repeat. Okay, this is only to understand how a subroutine is different from a jump instruction. Okay, point number 1, a subroutine instruction, that is the call instruction, is also a unconditional branching instruction, meaning whenever a call instruction occurs, a branching is always done. That's the first point. Okay, and to the address which it branches, now it is called as subroutine address. It is not called as branching address, but it is called as subroutine address. And where is the subroutine written? The subroutine is written after this infinite loop. Okay, so I have written a subroutine add 1, and I have added the data, and the last instruction in the subroutine is always the return instruction. Okay, so while debugging, I will show you what is the functionality of this call instruction and return instruction. Okay, let me execute one by one. So move a comma hash 20 r0 comma 30. Now see, so there is a subroutine instruction, that is the call instruction. So this is also an unconditional branching instruction. So where will it branch? It will branch to the subroutine address called add1. Okay, so it will directly branch here. Fine, then it will execute all the subroutine instructions. So we have only one instruction in the subroutine now. You may have as many instructions as in the subroutine. So it will execute. Now this is the difference. The last instruction in the subroutine is always the return instruction. What was happening in jump instruction? If suppose this was a jump instruction, say if I say sjump add 1, so it would be branching here and it will continue the execution from this point onwards itself. Okay, but here it will make a branch, and as I said, the last instruction in the subroutine is always the return instruction. After executing the subroutine instructions, when a return instruction is executed, okay, then the control is again transferred, so it will again go back to the main function where it had left. That is, after this subroutine instruction, you had to execute this move r2, a instruction. Okay, so once you execute the return instruction, this will again go back. See, so this is the difference between a jump instruction and a subroutine instruction. Okay, because a subroutine is similar to a function what you write in C language. Okay, now it will execute. Now one more subroutine has occurred. It will again branch. It will execute the subroutine instructions, and once a return instruction is executed, it will again go back to the main program. Okay, so that's the difference between a normal jump instruction and a subroutine instruction. Okay, so in detail, I will cover what is the syntax of a call, what is the syntax of return, and what is the mechanism of a call and return instruction. But it is only an overview to explain the difference between a jump instruction and a subroutine instruction. Okay, thank you.